Welcome to the Prophecy Club. We're going to continue talking about Revelation today. As you know, I have been talking about me memorizing the book of Revelation, and as I've also explained to you, I've now finished that. I'm now going back and getting it down a little deeper, moving it from level 3 to level 4 to level 5, where I really have it. But in the meantime, I'm continuing to get Revelations. I plan to make a DVD called Revelations on Revelation, but we're not taking any pre-orders until I actually make the DVD. However, and I'm still getting a lot of really good revelations, but I don't want to get into all of those revelations, but I do think it is important for you to understand as much about Revelation before you get the DVD, because I'm sure once you understand really what's in that DVD, when I explain it, everybody's going to have it. I mean, I think it is going to be one of the most important works of my 24 years of being in the ministry. So hopefully you would believe me and get that DVD. But in the meantime, I think it's important that everybody understand the basics of Revelation, the things that I'm not going to be talking about. At least right now, I do not think I'm going to have time to go through teaching all the way through Revelation verse by verse all again. So, I mean, the Revelations is not going to be teaching Revelation verse by verse. It's just going to be on the Revelations. So let me explain to you what I'm about to do. I'm going to take the next several broadcasts and I'm going to play a large portion of the DVD, Revelation verse by verse, basically giving you a lot of information because it's important for you to understand that information so that you can understand the Revelations on Revelation DVD when that comes out. Because, I mean, if I say, well, let me tell you who the two witnesses are, and I start going into that, and if you aren't familiar with the scriptures already, it's going to be, well, you're going to be playing catch up, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. The next several broadcasts, I'm going to be playing the audio of the DVD from my DVD, Revelation verse by verse. I think it's very important that, of course, you listen to the broadcast, but even more important that you get the DVD. So we are making probably the best offer on that particular DVD set that we have ever offered. I'm looking up at some of the past offers. We have, first of all, it's 8 hours, 4 DVDs, valued at $120, and in the past, we've offered it for a gift of $75. We're going to offer it for an amazing offer today, for this particular week. First of all, the topics. What is the message of the 7 churches? Who are the 4 horsemen? Is Revelation layered or sequential when it goes through the seals and the trumpets and the vials? Is it 1 through 21, or is it like a 3-layered cake where 111 plays about the same time as 222? I answer that. Who are the beasts from the sea, the earth, and the pit? What does is fallen mean? What does it look like the day Jesus returns? How long is the day of the Lord? Is that a year, a month, one evening, one morning? What is that? Who is the woman who rides the beast? Who's the false prophet? Does the New Jerusalem come down at the end of 6,000 years or at the end of 7,000 years? When do we get our mansions? Are there 1 or 2 judgments upon America? When is the door shut to the 5 virgins? Does everyone who survives Armageddon get a glorified body? 2/3 of mankind is killed in the tribulation. What happens to the other 1/3? Again, 8 hours, 4 DVDs. Normally, well, it's valued at $120. In the past, we've offered it for a gift of $75. But today, this particular week, we're going to be offering it for a gift of just $30. $30, Revelation verse by verse, and Revelation verse by verse. And you can go to prophecyclub.com and order it, or you can call us, 785-266-1112. Now, let's go on over to me going through Revelation verse by verse in the DVD. Here comes the 5th trumpet. Now, if you'll look here so you can follow along where we are, right now we're about to go into the 5th trumpet. That's almost in the center of this chart. We just finished the 4th trumpet. If you'll also look, you see at the 4th trumpet, 1/3 of the sun, moon, and stars are darkened. Right below that, in the 4th vial, you see this also fits. The sun scorches men with fire. They repented not to give him glory. If you'll look to the left, the 3rd trumpet This is when the wormwood hits. This is when this giant meteor hits and causes all of this. Now, could that also be associated with the black horse and the pale horse riding? Well, what is the black horse? Well, the black horse is when you work all day long for just enough food to feed yourself for that day. The black horse is when commerce has great inflation. The pale horse is the Antichrist is riding. Death and hell is following him. A fourth of the world's population is killed by sword. That's war. Hunger and death. Does all of that make sense that it plays top to bottom, not left to right? Now, let's go on. Revelation 9:1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Now, what is the bottomless pit? It was probably the year 2000, maybe 2001. We had a crusade down in New Orleans. There was not too many people at that particular crusade, probably 75, maybe 100 people. And I saw this. I saw Prophet Leslie and Prophet Ed Lixie turn, and they were about to pray for my daughter Leslie Ann. They looked at each other. They raised their right hands like this, as if a double portion. And they went like this. Leslie turned around, and about that time they went, whoom. Now they didn't, I don't even know that they even touched. They might not even touch. They sure didn't push her heart. But they both, at the same time, two prophets of God, touched her forehead, and boom. I mean, she hit the ground as if you'd have hit her with a sledgehammer. And she was out, I mean passed out, cold out for over an hour on the ground. When she got up, this was the testimony. She said, I saw 3 people that were in my school. 2 had committed suicide, and 1 had been killed in a car accident. She said they were dangling by their hands. They were wearing white robes with a hooded top. She says the hood came down. You could barely see their face. I had to walk around to actually see their face. They were dangling by their hands, and their feet were tied. And the whole place was white, every place. She says it was not a white holy, it was a white cold. It was a painful cold. It was a cold like dry ice cold. Every place. These 3 that had 2 committed suicide, 1 killed in a car accident, none of them were Christians. She said then the scene changed. And she said, I saw people that were falling down a tunnel. And she said on the side of this tunnel, I hope I'm getting the story right. I've told it a couple of times in front of her. She said this is correct. They were falling down a tunnel, and she says about every 15 to 20 feet, there was a demon that was chained to the side of the tunnel. And they had all kinds of stabbing weapons, knives, hatchets, things like that. And these people would fall down the tunnel, and as they would fall by, these demons would laugh this hideous laugh and cut them or stab them with swords, all sorts of stabbing weapons. And it would cut into their flesh. Now they had flesh, but no blood. It would cut into their flesh. They would scream as they felt it, but then the flesh would just heal back up for them to fall another 15 or 20 feet until they came by the next demon that would cut them. And they kept falling. She said it was a bottomless pit. She said, I believe her words were, it was like there was no stopping. It was bottomless. I don't think she said pit. It was bottomless. They continued to fall and fall and fall for eternity, being cut every 15 or 20 feet as they fell by these demons. I believe that that's what it's talking about. I believe that if we could just know all things, if we had Jesus right here, I believe he would say there is a place near the center of the earth that is a bottomless pit where you can fall and 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 never hit bottom. And out of this place is where this angel comes. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven to the earth, and there was given him the key of the bottomless pit. He opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. Now, I just made another DVD, and it's called Stargates, Wormholes, and the Bottomless Pit. And I talk about how that they have made a 17-mile circular tunnel 574 feet below France and Switzerland. They say that their purpose is to get opposing plasma beams going in opposite directions and then to make them collide. And they're trying to create the moment of creation. They call it the Big Bang Theory or the God particle. Now this is what they tell. I believe that to be a cover story. What if, and this is the whole point of the DVD, if you're interested in this, you will find the DVD very interesting. What if what they really do is open up a wormhole, a door to the Spirit, a door to this bottomless pit? Watch what happens. Revelation 9:3, and there came a smoke, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. And to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And of course, at this point, that's very few people. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. This is one artist's rendition. Of course, this is not exactly, but it'll give you an idea of probably what they look like. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Now, wait a minute, look at that. Try to understand that. In those days, in other words, there's a time coming on the earth when people will desire to die. They want to die. They try to kill themselves, but they can't kill themselves. What's going on there? How can that happen? Revelation 9:7, and the shapes of the locust were like unto horses prepared unto battle. And on their heads were crowns like gold, their faces as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of many chariots of many horses running to battle. Now, understand horses in there. Understand breastplates like iron. And they had tails like unto scorpions. And there were stings in their tails, and they had power was to hurt men 5 months. Now, obviously, this is a recruiting campaign. They're trying to get people to repent and turn to Jesus. Revelation 9:11, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. In the Greek tongue, his name is Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. This particular article is talking about many insect robocops. The article goes on to say, engineers, government work on RC insects. It says New York College students attending an anti-war rally in Lafayette Square last month were convinced that they saw small flying machines that were, as they said, parenthesis, definitely not insects, hovering above. Bernard Crane, a Washington lawyer, saw them too, and he said he had never seen anything like them in his life. He said these sightings were among a group of Washington. Some observers think the unidentified flying objects may be miniature high-tech surveillance tools set loose by the Department of Homeland Security to observe the protest. Observers insist that the flying entities are not insects. The armed forces have been using robotic flyers since World War II and currently have 100 official models ranging from the size of planes to the size of birds. These models flew 160,000 flights last year, according to the official estimates. Now, let me just say, I don't think what comes out of the bottomless pit is anything mechanical. I think what comes out of the bottomless pit is some kind of a demon. I believe it is a literal thing. Now, I don't know if it has flesh or blood or whatever, but it's in the shape of a horse, and it sounds like horses running to battle. In other words, cloppity clop. I mean, it's something big. I'm going to guess, this is just my guess, I'm going to guess this thing, they weigh 100 pounds plus. Now, why do I say that? Well, I recently saw a hummingbird. Now, the hummingbird is so amazing because it's about the only bird that can just hang in mid-flight. And it gets its name, a hummingbird, from the sound that it makes. All right, and it's been my observation that the bigger the bird, the more the sound of the wings is heard. Yes? Okay, our audience agrees. So if this sounds like horses running to battle, if you've ever heard a horse run by you, I mean, they shake the earth. I mean, they make a lot of noise. Matter of fact, you can hear horses. You've heard the scene in the old westerns. I watched this as a child, that you can put your ear to the ground and you can hear a horse, or especially horses, coming from a long way off. I don't think what it's talking about is some little RoboCop. I think it's something that weighs in excess of 100 pounds. These are big, mean, bad insects from the pit of hell that go around stinging people that aren't saved. This particular article says, is this a mosquito? No. This is an insect spy drone already in production, controlled from a great distance, equipped with a camera, microphone, can land on you, needle, take a DNA sample, inject a micro-tracking device under your skin. I don't believe that this is in production yet. I think this is someone's fantasy. But the point is still the same. What is this thing? This is probably closer to what is really going on. Joel 2:4 says the appearance of them is the appearance as of horses. Now look at this, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Why did the Bible say the appearance is as the appearance of horses and as horsemen? Why didn't it just say men with horses? Why didn't it say men on horses? Why does it say horses then as horsemen? Could it be that at some point in the future, my personal belief that the tribulation is probably in the ballpark of 2030, 2040. I'm not setting dates, someplace in there. It's not as close as we want to think. And there's going to be a whole lot of technology and advancements between now and then. What if it looks something like that picture? A half man, half horse. What if these are the varmints that are attacking Israel at the Battle of Armageddon? Now, Revelation 9:9 says the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. Now, this is not the thing that flies. This is probably part of what attacks Israel at Armageddon. However, let's continue reading. Joel 2:6. Before their face, the people shall be much pained. Now, look at this. All faces shall gather blackness. Now, I have looked up that word, and here's the way we would say that. All faces have become black. I don't think it's a pigment thing. I think it's because the ozone layer has been destroyed, and the sun got 7 times hotter, and it basically burned everybody on Earth. Everybody on Earth, all of their skin just turned black from maybe the radiation from the sun getting 7 times hotter. Maybe there's some kind of solar flare, but it basically turned everybody on Earth back. That's what it's saying. All faces gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. What does that mean, mighty men? Do you realize that some of the things they put in the movies are not all fiction? I believe that it is fiction, but it's fiction based upon fact. For example, the Hulk. Well, where did the Hulk come from? The Hulk was trying to inject himself with some kind of a gamma concoction that would make him a super soldier. Well, where did the Fantastic Four come from? The Spider-Man. Spider-Man came from getting bit by a spider that had 5 different spiders that had their genes altered. In other words, many of the movies, if you'll go watch, what's the new one? The new one has all 5 heroes in it or something. If you'll watch the movies, they'll tell you what they're thinking. It says, verse 7, they shall run like mighty men. Their objective in many of the military experiments is to make a super soldier. So when it says they run like mighty men, I believe that they're actually saying they have created an army of super soldiers. This is what attacks Israel at Armageddon, an army of super soldiers. They shall climb upon the wall like men of war. They shall march everyone on his own ways. In other words, they do as they're told. They do maybe as they're programmed. And they shall not break their ranks. Neither one shall thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path. And look at this. When they fall upon a sword, they shall not be wounded. What did the Bible just tell us? They try to die. They want to die, but death flees from them. Okay, so what is it talking about? When they fall upon a sword and they shall not be wounded. To me, there's only two ways. Either they have some kind of a coating where when they run upon a sword, the sword won't penetrate. We do know that they have already mixed goat's milk with spider's web, and they have already come up with something like 7 times stronger than steel. They're now making bulletproof vests out of the stuff. They are making experiments, I've read articles on this, where they're trying to weave in this stuff into our skin genetically. So, maybe they come up with something where you can literally hold a sword and run against the wall and it will not penetrate you. Or maybe the sword goes in and then they pull it right back out and there's instant healing. See, what makes sense to me is it would be instant healing because earlier it said when the locusts come stinging men for 5 months, they desire to die. They want to die, but death flees from them. See, it wouldn't make any sense if it was just some kind of a coating or some kind of a spider's web welded into their skin or something. Genesis 6:4. You remember Jesus said, as in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. Well, what was going on in the days of the Son of Noah? Genesis 6:4, there were giants in the earth in those days. And after that, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of man, that they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, men which were old, men of renown. If you want to go look it up, you see that word old? The word in the Hebrew there means ageless. In other words, when the sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men, their offspring were not only giants, but they did not inherit the curse of Adam, and they weren't dying. They had eternal bodies. That's what it says. I didn't write it. I just read it. In other words, DNA alterations. Maybe the mermaid, half man, half fish. Maybe the centaur, half man, half horse. Maybe those old myths, maybe they weren't myths. I made a DVD called DNA of the Mark of the Beast. And in this DVD, it is my contention. What if advanced scientists offered an injection correcting defects in our DNA? Daniel said in 2:43 that we will be mingling ourselves with the seed of men. Is that referring to aliens mingling the seed with men as they did in Genesis 6:4? What if it stopped cell degeneration and aging, giving people eternal life and instant healing? Joel 2:8, fall on a sword and not be wounded. What if the catch in order to get this injection that corrects your DNA is you have to take a tattoo and swear allegiance to the world government? A tattoo being the mark of the beast. Is this why men will seek death and shall not find it? Shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them, Revelation 9:6. Will an injection associated with the mark of the beast give eternal life? What if the injection caused noisome and grievous sores upon men which had the mark of the beast? In other words, what if this injection started out good, but then something went horribly wrong? Have you watched the movie Legend with Will Smith? In this particular movie, it starts out, they have on the TV, they're interviewing this lady. She's come up with a cure for cancer. Everybody's getting the injection. And then something goes horribly wrong. You see, if we listen to what the devil's saying in some of his movies, if we're a prophecy student, we can say, hey, I think I know what he's saying there. Now let's continue. Revelation 9:13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loosed the 4 angels, which are bound to the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay a third part of men. 4 angels, great river Euphrates. Why is that important? Where's Euphrates? Well, it runs right through Iraq. Well, why is Iraq important in the end times? I believe that the 2 best candidates for the nations that will bring forth the Antichrist is Syria and Iraq. And I think it's very interesting that these 4 angels that slay all of these people come from Iraq. Slay a third part of men. Let's go on. Verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. All right. That's 200,000. That's 200 million. Did I get my math right? Congregation shaking their head, yes. Okay. The problem is, people will say, oh, that's the Chinese. And no. Because we've all heard Chinese, they boast that they can put forward a 200 million man army. Well, maybe they have 200 million men that they can put into an army, but it didn't say that. It said horsemen, an army of the horsemen. The problem is according to my research, there is not 200 million horses on the face of the earth. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to interrupt right there, but I do encourage you to get this. As I said, I'm going to be making a new DVD called Revelations on Revelation. And in preparation for that DVD being released at some point in hopefully the next few months, it's important for you to understand the basics of Revelation because I'm not going to be covering that in that new DVD. This is going to be totally new information. I'm not going to be covering Revelation verse by verse. In preparation for the new DVD, I recommend you get this DVD, Revelation verse by verse, if you don't already have it. 612 slides, 212 pictures, 10 charts. You will thoroughly understand Revelation in preparation for the next one on Revelation. It's 4 DVDs, 8 hours, valued at $120. In the past, we've offered it for a gift of $75, but today you can get it for a gift of $30. 785-266-1112 or prophecyclub.com. Revelation verse by verse, 785-266-1112 or prophecyclub.com. It's going to be really, really good. I recommend you get it. Thanks for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your gifts of support. God bless. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. Lindsey Williams has just come out with his newest DVD titled How Trump Changed Elite Plans. How Trump changed elite plans, and he did. Topics: be prepared to view the most shocking DVD I've ever made. Nothing like this has happened in 6,000 years. Something catastrophic is beginning to develop. It will change your life forever and the life of your children and grandchildren. This is the most important information I've ever given about the future. Called How Trump Changed Elite Plans at prophecyclub.com. Available for shipping now. Brian Melvin did an excellent job making this DVD called Hell in a Box and From Hell to Heaven. Excellent talk. I've heard about 30 some odd talks of people that have passed on, some to heaven, some to hell. This is one of the best ones. This held my attention all the way through. Now look, just as archaeology can be really powerful to win people to Christ, and you need that. You need this DVD in your hands to show people this will convince people. I'm saying this will convince the skeptic to get saved very powerfully. You want this DVD and this book, Hell in a Box and Hell to Heaven, and the book, A Land Unknown, Hell's Dominion. DVD gift of 30, book gift of 20, both for a gift of 45, prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. The Hell gift offer. Keep them out of it with the Hell gift offer. prophecyclub.com, 785-266-1112.